Welcome to week 13 of 52 weeks of storytelling. Somehow we got to week 13 already. Today we are going to be talking about where you went to college or why you didn't go. So if you want to jump straight into the prompt, feel free to jump to that spot with the chapters in the description. If you missed last week's video, please go back and watch it when you have a moment and fill in all the bits and pieces and write your story. Don't forget that if you are writing and you've got like pieces of paper flying everywhere, there's a journal. You can grab the journal. In the description of this video, you will find a link to Etsy, which will give you an option to buy a PDF version and print it. Alternatively, you can go to the Amazon link and grab a printed version that will ship to you from Amazon in about a couple days. So those are options. Please remember you can grab the journal. If you don't want the journal, no problem. You can still totally come watch these videos. But I know that it can get a little crazy when there's paper flying everywhere, so I really think the printed journal, it's pretty awesome. So with that, let's talk about the weekly writing prompt. So this week we are talking about where you went to college or why you didn't go. Yes, I know, not everyone goes to college. My partner and I are actually a prime example of this. I went to college, he didn't. There were a lot of reasons for that, and I will share that in my story example. For the writing prompt, if you didn't go to college, this is not, I'm going to go through how the words flow in a little bit, and I'll cover both instances. I like having people think about this question because sometimes high school just isn't that exciting, and while a lot of things happen in high school, when we get into college and into that age range, so we're talking usually between like 18 and 22, for our friends that have gone on to get masters and PhDs, like you're probably a little older, but there's a lot that happens in there. There's maturity level, you might meet someone. It might be the reason you moved away from home and went somewhere else. So those are all things that I like to get people thinking about, and a lot of times where someone goes to college or doesn't go, it really shapes their life. It shapes who they are as a person. It changes maybe their perspective. Maybe it changes how they view the world. And it may change where they choose to continue living, where they would, eventually raise their family. So those are reasons to start this conversation with someone. For you writing as yourself, let's get into how the words flow. So we start with our basics of our legacy storytelling method, which is the 5 W's. So those are who, what, when, where, why. And the first couple are pretty self-explanatory. Why usually ends up giving people a little bit of a problem. So when we come to the why, it's how did this happen? What got you there? In this instance, for college, it's like it could be, maybe the why is that your parent, maybe it's generational. Maybe all your forefathers or foremothers went to this college, so you had to go to this college. Maybe you didn't get a choice. Maybe it was the only place that you got accepted to. Maybe it was the only place you applied to. Maybe someone came to your high school and it was at a college fair and you really liked their colors or something. So those are all reasons why, like how you got to this moment. If and vice versa, if you didn't go to college, why did that happen? What came up for you? What was going on in your life that made it that wasn't a choice you made? For the digging deeper questions, those are impact and feelings and what you want people to remember about this moment. So thinking about, did it change the trajectory of your life? Did it change how you approach things? Did it change where you lived? And how did you feel about it? Did you feel good about it? Do you wish you could have done something different? And then what do you want people to remember about where you went to college or this time in your life? Remember that these questions are guidelines. They're not hard and fast rules. Feel free to answer however you like. And just remember to share it with someone. These stories that might come out of this particular prompt, if you have offspring, if you have relatives, if you have a college friend or someone who you were friends with in that time, they would be a great person to have a conversation with about this. With that, I want to give you my story example. So, I shared a little bit at the beginning of this video that I went to college and my partner didn't. So, we were together actually through that college age. We had our first child and got married very young. We were 18 and 19. And so the short version is that I went to college first because I got a full ride on academic scholarship to Arizona State and graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Engineering in Construction Management. I just love saying that, so you just have to bear with me. And then the idea was my husband would he'd go to college afterwards, and that didn't quite happen. But he has a PhD level in mechanical engineering, like without the paper. So he is wildly smart. We are crazy intelligent in so many different ways, and it's been really a neat journey to see how those different things have shaped us. And it changed the trajectory of, well, having a child together that young changes the trajectory of your life. But I had two options. I was accepted to Slippery Rock University in Pennsylvania, and I had gotten one scholarship. I had applied to the Honors College. I'd gotten into the Honors College, and I was waiting to hear about the Honors Scholarship before committing to SRU, and I got the letter from Arizona State. And I was like, well, I could go to college and graduate with no debt, or I could, go pay out of state tuition, because I was living in Arizona at the time. So that's kind of how that decision got made. And I think it was a good decision. It had a huge impact on multiple lives. And I think what I want people to remember is that it was really personal. So if you're watching this video and you haven't gone to college yet, or it's something that you're thinking about doing, you get to decide. It is totally personal, and I know that there are lots of outside factors that are going to come in and tell you what to do, but it really comes down to you. I hope that this has helped you write some part of your story. Don't forget to check back for more, check the playlist, and grab your journals. With that, I hope you have an incredibly wonderful day, and until we talk again, happy writing.